Okay, well, we're where we left off after installing Lazarus and the free Pascal compiler on Linux. The only difference between this screen and the one that we left off from the installation is I've changed my system to light mode instead of dark mode, and that's why the surface of this form is now a light gray instead of a dark gray. It'll make seeing things easier. My intention is we're going to create a window that will accept a user ID and a password, and there'll be a button, and when you click it, it'll determine if you've entered the correct user ID and password. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the form and go to Properties, and we're going to change the caption on this form. Let me stretch this down a little bit. Okay, the caption currently is Form 1, and I want that to be something else. We're going to call it My Log On. And when I hit enter, the title bar now says My Log On. Okay, we're going to now put some controls on the form. The first thing we're going to put on there is a label. So you go up to the toolbar and you select Label, T-Label, click it, click on your form, and now we have a label on our form. The label is not sizable at this point. You can't change the size of that. For that reason, amongst others, I usually shut auto size off. And now you can adjust the size of the label. The caption is currently label 1. I want to change that. We're going to call this user space ID colon space and hit enter. So now it says user ID in here. If I take the focus back onto the form, you can see that's what it looks like. Kind of hard to see with those adjustment handles on it. So the next thing we're going to have is the entry field for that, which is a T-edit box. So you click on the T-edit object in the toolbar, and you come down here and you click it where you want it. And this is also auto-sized. I'm going to shut that off too. I don't care for that. And now I can adjust the size of it. So when I change the text in this label, the text grows to the right. I don't like that. I want it to be up snug to the edit box. So what I will do is, with this selected, the label selected, I will go in and change it from the alignment from a left justify. I'll click here on the edge, and I will click right justify. And you can see now that it pulls it up tight to the entry box, which is, better. I think that at least looks better. The other thing we have now is getting these two aligned up. So what I like to do is I like to make both of the controls the same height. If we look at the current height of the user ID label, which by the way, it's not user ID label, it's called label 1. Label 1 isn't a very good description, is it? We're going to change a few things here. First of all, let's change the name to something that makes a little more sense. I'm just going to call it LBL user ID. That really tells you what it is. It's the label of user ID. Perfect. Now, these two are not the same size. They're not quite aligned properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of these controls, and then I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to select size. And then for the height, I want them to grow to the largest. So I select grow to largest, and I click OK. And now both controls are the same height. Okay. So, will they line up? Yes. So, we haven't got it lined up properly though, have we? I mean, they're both the same height, but user ID is not, it's shifted up. And that's because of the layout. The default layout is top. Well, I don't want that. So let's go to layout. The layout here, I will select center. Bingo. Now they are lined up properly. The edit box is called, the text edit box is called edit 1, not descriptive of what's going to be entered. So let's select that. Let's go to name, and let's change the name to something that is better. User ID. Now you notice when I'm changing these, it's changing here in the object inspector, and it's also changing in the source code. It changed to edit user ID. It did that for me. So if I was to run this, if I were to run this right now, let's take a look and see how it would display. So I'll click, if you click on run, you'll see that to run something, you just press F9. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to press F9. And this comes up and it talks about the internal dwarf debugger and enable. I'm just going to say OK for this for now. OK. So it came up. Look, it's putting this text, edit user ID, in this box. I don't want that. I want this to, when it comes up and displays, I want this to be empty, ready for somebody to type something in. So let's close this. How are we going to fix that? Well, we've selected the box. Now, we're going to look for this property, which is called text. And here's text, right? Select it and delete it. And when I hit enter, yay, it's gone. Now when it displays, it'll come up appearing empty. Let's try it. F9. There we go. It's empty, just like we want. We close it. Okay, so now I'm going to need another label, but the label is going to be for password. So I can right click on that item, say copy. Now I select the form where I'm going to paste it onto the form, and I click paste, and there it is. And I can do the same thing for this edit box. Before I do that, let's go in and change the properties here. So first of all, the caption is not right for this. We want the caption to say password. Right? So we took care of that. And we want the name to be label password. So we will change that to label password. All right. And now we want to take this box and copy it down below. So we say copy, go to the form, paste, and line it up. And now we have to change the name of this to edit password. So the name will be edit password. edit password. And you can see that I misspelled edit user ID. I need to fix that. Edit user ID. It's not utter ID. Okay, user ID. There, that's fixed. Okay, now we need to add our button that will be clicked when we want to log on. So pick a button, put it on the form. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to change the caption of button right here. Caption is going to be log on. Okay, and I'm going to change the name. Button isn't a very descriptive one. Excuse me. Button log on. Okay. Excuse me while I have to cough. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so we have everything we need to make this work. Let's just run it and see what it looks like when it runs. We'll do F9. Okay. And we'll pretend we're typing in a name. We'll do John Smith, the user. And password is his password. Okay, so we see we got a problem right away. You don't want to echo the password back out to the screen so other people can see it. So we're going to have to fix that. And currently, if we click the logon button, it doesn't do anything. So we have a few things we need to take care of. Password. All right. There's a property called echo mode right here. And if we pop down the box, we see that they actually have an EM password. I think that's what we want. So I've selected that. And let's just see if that fixed it. We'll do F9. And we'll go to the, let's tab over to the password box. PAS, there we go. Password, and it's hidden. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, now we got to do something when this button's clicked. So here's where we're going to play with events. I could either double click on this button, or I can go to the Events tab for this button, and it shows all the events that you can specify an action for. And we want an on-click event, right? Now I can either double click in this empty box, or I can double click the actual icon on the screen. Either way will work. I'll do it here just for grins. Double clicking, it created an event name, which is button log on click, and it inserted the empty procedure right here in our code for us. Now all we have to do is enter the Pascal source code to do what we want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if edit user ID, and I want to now specify a property, right? And what is displayed in the edit box has a property called text, right? Well, it does. Oh, I didn't select the, yeah, here it is, edit user ID. Text. So that's whatever's entered in that box is called text. All right. So we're going to type in a dot. And you'll notice a little properties menu pops up, and we can just scroll down here and find text somewhere. What if I type a T in? There it is, text. Double click it and it fills it in. So if text is equal to, I'll give it a little space in there. You don't have to put a space in, but I think it's more readable. So inside apostrophes goes the text that we're going to compare. And John Smith. We're hard coding a user ID and password in. That's not normally what would happen, but we're trying to keep this simple. So if that's equal to John Smith and edit password dot. Now you notice that text came up. It's basing this on my last search for text, and it's putting it up at the top, so that makes it very handy. And if that is equal to password, okay, then we're going to do something. About the simplest thing I can do is show a message. So I can do a show message. Oops. Right. And now it's expecting a string, and I will just say log on successful. Of course, if the name and the password is correct, the situation would be it's successful, but then there's the flip side of the coin. Else, the other possibility, it's not successful. So we would just do show message, and we will just say log on failed. There we go. And we must put that semicolon at the end of the statement. And now we've got an action tied to an event. So we're all set. We should have a functioning program. Let's hit F9 and see if it works. Okay. Jane Smith. The correct password. Click log on. Failed. Let's try John Smith with an incorrect password. Put a 1 at the end. Failed. And we will put the correct password in now and hit log on. Successful. So we've created a functioning logon screen, albeit extremely simple. Now, there's other events that we could hook up. When you're done entering a password and you hit enter, maybe you don't need to have a logon button. So we'll check that, see if we can add another event. Okay. So we will go back to our form, and we will click on password, the edit box, and then we will look at events. And you'll notice there's an on exit event, which means if I hit enter and I exit that box or tab out of it, this event will fire. So let's just double click this, and you'll see now we have edit password exit. And what I can do is I can make this, I can actually use the same code that I used on logon button click. I think that's what I want to do. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay. So I don't need this code. Home. Highlight it. Delete it. And I need to come up here. We don't need this procedure now because we just deleted it, right? Home. Get rid of that. Okay. So effectively, when I exit that edit box, it will automatically act as though the logon button was clicked. Okay. Well, let's see if that works. So we will run it. I wished I could get rid of this cough. All right. And we'll just do John Smith. Password. Now if I hit tab or enter, tab, I tabbed out of it, that was exiting it, log on successful. Or I could be in the box and click log on successful. In the box and hit enter, nothing happened. You have to tab out of it, okay? And that's it. So we've created a functioning, albeit a very simplistic, logon screen. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I think probably the next step will be to do something a little more complex, but this gives you a flavor for the properties of the various controls that you can put on a form and how you can use events to make things happen, execute code. So for now, that's it. I'm going to say adios, and I look forward to making the next video for you guys to watch. Take it care. Bye.